All right, so I've been MIA from posting anything for a while. Got married, have had some health issues going on, and really just been focusing on life. But wanted to give everybody kind of a quick update where we stood on this. Not that I think any of you really care, but for a couple of you, I know you reached out and said, "Hey, where's the Mustang?" So I left off. I just finished, I think, the turbo setup. Uh, we welded the wastegate onto the compressor housing in hopes that it should be controllable for what I'm looking for. Not ideally placed, but in order to make it fit with the hood and closing and everything else, that is the way that it worked out. I got the intercooler stuff all fabbed up, completed. We have a GM intake air temperature sensor, a 50 millimeter blow off valve. I got the radiator all mounted in securely, and we started some coolant stuff. I got the finishing lines, brake lines kit mostly installed. I have the rears to do, but I have to purchase 2 new rear calipers so they're not hooked up. I installed the harness. So before I was going to run a stock PCM, and that was pretty much what I was after, being a budget built. I ended up finding a brand new in the box Holly for, I think it was 800. So basically 50% off, and I was able to snag that. Shout out to my wife for being so awesome and supportive and just saying, sure, go do what you got to do. So pulled out the stock Amazon swap harness and the PCM. Ended up, getting a little Holly in there. I got the fuel setup basically complete. We're running the standard sloppy PQY regulator and Evil Fab PTFE hoses, dash 8 feed, dash 8 return, dead-headed style to the stock Trailblazer rail. I'll show you some pictures of that. As far as the interior goes, I picked up a set of dashboards. Picked up a set of door panels and a center console fairly cheap. Went ahead and made a mount bracket for the Holly to put in that airbag location. Got the Holly screen positioned. Originally, I had an Android head unit there, so I had to make a kind of a bracket or cover panel, and then still have a hole there from when we were going to run the oil temp gauge or oil pressure gauge. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there. In terms of ice tank, I am trying out the old school sloppy method. Not even sloppy, but an old school method of running the igloo tank cooler. Robert Fox, awesome dude. He's the guy that welded on the wastegate. Also generously donated a pump for this combo. So we'll run some water lines all the way up to the front and get that squared away here shortly. I'll have to get some more dash 16, and I think we're going to run a Davis Craig pump, or I may try to run the BMW pump on a PWM now that I have Holly. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that yet. If anybody has any great ideas, please let me know in the comments. I read them all 4 of them that happened on the last video. As far as the rear of the car goes, I went ahead and got it's a 15-gallon fuel cell installed, and then my buddy over there at Spank Ranch Garage, Barry, found this sweet battery box, so I was able to make that. We have a breather over here with a rollover valve, double loop, and then the return comes in there. Dual feed goes out through the bottom. That's actually a factory hole I just enlarged. Then in terms of the rear setup, we have Cobra 88 out of a 96 Cobra, so a little bit shorter width-wise than the factory New Edge, which is pretty good. Allows me to fit a little bit different wheel combos here. We have 2 8 Evil Fab filters to 2 Quantum 380 pumps. Pumps run down to a Y, then they go through another filter, and then up to the rail. They're pretty neat down there. Kind of hard to see. I'll post some pictures in the end, some still shots, and see kind of how that goes. eBay special tubular arms, which I have been warned now that apparently some of them suck and some of them are great. So we'll see, I guess. Who knows? probably have to do that again. I think a lot of this car is going to probably get redone after I shake it down and figure out what works and what doesn't work, unfortunately. You can see right above the pumpkin there is the finishing lines, stainless steel line that will go to the calipers once I get those in. Amazon diff cover should work, I guess. Who knows? I did end up rear gearing this, so when I bought it, it had 411s in it. 411s were probably going to be way too tall with the Glide, so I ended up putting in 373s. I'll post some pictures of the re-gearing process. First time I ever re-geared a rear axle, so seems to be good as far as what measured out to be, but we will see. Time will tell, I guess you'd say. I ended up getting another short block. This one had a severe head gasket issue, as you can tell. Milkshake here on the ground. Probably gonna have that cleaned up, sent out. Maybe have the heads redone. Probably gonna leave the bottom end stock. Over here, as in the early episodes, we got the seat in, and now, like I said, the Terminator screen is over there. Probably just gonna run that little one for a little bit and kind of see where it goes. Other than that, nothing really too crazy here. I did pick up a TSI's Industry or Trans Specialties Industries, however you want to call it. I picked up one of their billet trans brakes. Had to get some parts. The guy that I bought it from, I got it incredibly cheap, $100, and it's just missing some parts. So I ended up ordering from them. Hopefully get those here within the next couple days, and then I'll get with my man Sam down at Sammy Built, and we'll hopefully get that together. Next thing I'll need is a converter, drive shaft, and then finishing the wiring. I'm gonna run, the headlights, tail lights, all to a Kubota switch. This car had no wiring when I got it, so we're gonna end up doing that. Gonna have to get a cage in this relatively soon because I don't think they're gonna let me make a pass without it. I think it's just gonna run too fast. Who knows? Plus, with the seat, there's no seat belts, so yes, gonna need a cage or a harness bar or something. Gonna end up needing some type of rear firewall, being that the battery and the fuel tank are back there. I may end up going with a Scott Rod Fabrications just because I know they fit and they're decent and fairly inexpensive, and I won't have to buy a giant sheet of aluminum and have to figure that out myself. I'm not sure if I covered in the last video, but I ended up picking up from Doug Slow SVT, I think it is, on Instagram. This kind of wrecked up Cal hood, which is totally fine with me, and I believe they're 28s. Yeah, 28 by 10 and a half Jag wheels with some Mickey Thompsons. So other than that, it's been pretty quiet here in the old chop shop. Yeah, just kind of plugging away a little bit here and a little bit there. Now that the wedding's over, I have to address some health issues. So with that, I'll have surgery, so I won't be able to really do anything for a month, which is okay. It'll give me some time to plan out some more stuff. Other than that, this is where we stand. Joe Dirt, as I like to call him, is really shaping up to be something. My plan was to have it ready by this fall, October or November. Life happens, gets in the way. So now we're shooting for spring. I believe that now that I have the winter to kind of really stockpile parts and make this thing a little bit better of quality build, we may end up with a pretty cool car at the end of it. Thanks a lot for viewing. Like I said, if you can, like, share, subscribe. It means a lot to me. I know this channel is kind of boring in a sense, but I figured I would document it for my own personal being and for everybody else that maybe might have some questions along the way. If you ever need anything, you can find me on Instagram, ChippyB13. Shoot me a message. Thanks.